Well, welcome. My name is Kathy Marconi. I am not a travel agent. I have a doctorate in sociology and I worked in public health, not that that's quite relevant to the story. What I do have is a daughter who lives in Amsterdam.
Oh,
Is that her? No, and I will show her in a photo. So I visit Amsterdam at least once, if not more often, a year. So what I thought today, and I have cookies from Amsterdam, as I say, which are welcome chocolate, stroopwafels, spelt cookies, and chocolate. The chocolate is not from Christmas. It's from the end of January. I froze it. They have a festival of lights in Amsterdam that lasts through January. So I got these at the end of January. And let's see, I thought as you ask questions or participate, you could introduce yourself. That way, if a few more people come, they can introduce themselves. And I wanted to know how many of you have been to Amsterdam. I know you've been there, and you've been, what is your name, sir?
Bruce.
You gotta introduce yourself, Bruce.
I'm Bruce Jones.
Okay.
I was there 30 years ago. And I don't remember too much.
Okay. And Gina, Dee, please.
The last time I was there, it was, 2003.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe 2003.
I was there in 1960.
Okay. I was not. So tell me.
I remember the smoke wheel and all the cyclists.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and is there, how many people are thinking of going to Amsterdam or have a trip planned? Okay, Trina's going this summer. August.
Yeah, we're a couple.
Oh, okay.
We're going on a bike park.
A bike?
A bike park.
Bike march. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful.
Our friends tell us that's the way to go if you can, you know.
Yes, yeah. So you're interested in bikes and barges. What other things? I have too many slides, so I want to concentrate on a few. What else would you like to know about Amsterdam? Food. Food, I have some food slides.
Yeah, let's see, there's two big museums. There's Vermeer, isn't there a big Vermeer collection there?
Yep, we'll cover that.
And Rembrandt.
Yes. And Van Gogh.
And Van Gogh. Oh, yeah. Go figure.
Well, for those of you going this year, and Tom and Pat may be interested, but this year is the 750th anniversary of Amsterdam. So it's from, well, it was last year too. It's from October to October 25th, I believe. And there are street festivals and special events all over the city. And you got a an online attachment from Trina. Did everybody get it?
Oh, you know what? I have it scheduled to go out this afternoon with the recording.
Okay, but that populates all the museums, well, many of the museums, and the 750th festival. Here it is.
I didn't see any point in printing it because they're all live links and you don't want to take these in. So
Right,
this will come to you with the recording this afternoon. And the map will be on there too if you want a digital map. So she's got all that.
Oh, restaurants.
And restaurants, it's a cheat seat. So we're covering tulips, canals, and clogs, and I thought I would start with the tulips. And the tulip season runs from about the end of March through the middle of May. I went early May and took these photos 2 years ago.
Great photo.
So, well, it's easy with all the flowers. So first of all, starting with the Netherlands, it's so easy to get to Belgium and Germany from the Netherlands. So a lot of tours do all of that together. And you can see Amsterdam is in the northern part of the Netherlands. And then starting with Tulips, you see Amsterdam in the right-hand corner there. The Tulips are down here. This is a blown-up map. It takes about, I'd say, a half hour to 45 minutes or an hour, depending on traffic, to drive there. You can also take the train there. There are bus tours. In fact, it costs 34 euros to get 38 euros per adult to get in. If you take a bus tour there, it's like 42 euros. So you might as well take a bus unless you have a daughter who can drive you there. And you pass beautiful tulip fields driving there. And I'm sure on the bus, or you can take the train too. So it's very easy to get around. You discovered that too, very easy. The cost to get in to what? Into the gardens. Oh, see, okay, I can't pronounce Dutch. Oh, thank you. Those are the main gardens.
In Amsterdam.
Outside, just outside of Amsterdam, just outside. And then the tulip fields are some of the green you pass on the way there. So when you go to the gardens, who's been to Longwood Gardens?
Sure.
Okay, it reminds me of Longwood Gardens, close in size, etc. Look, there are acres of these tulips. There are purple ones, black ones, red ones, yellow ones, green ones. Just incredible tulips that you cannot bring home to the US.
Can't bring any?
No. You're not allowed to import any. What you can do is I put some wooden tulips on the table. You can buy those, and they have bigger versions too. And they have plastic ones, but I bought the wooden ones. So that's the daughter who works there with my husband.
Oh.
And you can see they have other flowers besides tulips too. And these tulip beds, we were at the end of the tulip season, so they look a little scraggly. Oh, and the other thing I should say about here, you saw the first one was in the sun, and now they're wearing, it's raining.
Yeah.
My son-in-law's British, and he said it really reminds him of London. There.
It's the same climate.
Yeah, so even in the summer, just be prepared that you could get a shower while you're there. And they have azaleas, like that was in the first picture. But if you can't get to the gardens, okay, here's the so-called hack, as my granddaughter would say. In Amsterdam, if you go to this street, would you like to pronounce it?
Oh, this looks like.
Okay. It is a whole street of flower stalls.
Yeah.
This picture was taken in the beginning of February. Okay, there's a whole, this is just part of the block it shows. So if you can't if the gardens are out of season, I highly recommend going, and this is on the canals, which we'll get to. There's also a big park in the middle of Amsterdam, which reminded me of Central Park in New York City, because it is a big lake, and it's Mondale Park. And that in the summer, in tulip season, they have these floating wooden squares that have tulips in them that they put out in the lake.
Nice.
Which is really nice. And I think on other holidays they put out flowers. So it's a beautiful park to walk around. Don't go in it at night. My daughter tells me they're pretty casual about sex in the park. She lives near there. I should mention about the gardens too. If you see something at a gift shop that you want, and you think, oh, there are several gift shops in the gardens, and you think, oh, I'll get it on the way out, from the gift shop on the way out. You can't. They have different things than some of the other gift shops. So even though it's not like the US, you go to Baltimore and everybody's the same crabs for sale. It's not quite like that. So if you see something you want, I would recommend buying it. Vondel Park is also the site on King's Day. What is King's Day? Celebrates, it used to be Queen's Day. It depends on who's the king or queen of the Netherlands. And they celebrate, it's on the birthday of the king. They celebrate the whole day, and it's April 27th currently with King William. And the king comes out on the imperial balcony. He doesn't live there, but he goes, it's for meetings. He goes there and he comes out and waves. And it's a big day for pubs and drinking, lots of beer. What's really interesting is on King's Day, if you can imagine this big lake, and it's completely surrounded by tents, and it was raining again, of course. Children sell whatever they want, like old toys, old clothes, things they've made. They have games. It's to encourage children to learn how to market and sell goods.
Wow.
Because they're known for their businesses. Well, this starts at a very young age. So your children set up a stall and they sell whatever they want, which is fascinating. That's all children selling things there. So King's Day is April, and this is a relatively young king, so it'll be April 27th. So,
And everyone wears orange.
and everyone wears orange, yes, yes.
What's, do you know the significance of orange?
It's the House of Orange.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
William of Orange.
Yeah, the
The soccer team wears orange. I think it's in the flag, isn't it?
No, flags are white.
Okay. So, yeah, so we'll wear orange. So that's kind of a neat thing to do if you're there during King's Day. Okay. Let's see, I think that's about, any questions about, they have several cafeterias at this big garden too. And I said you can't buy tulip bulbs to bring back to the US. Okay.
Kathy, when the tulip bulbs are done, when they've kind of done their thing, what happens in the park for the rest of the evening? Do they just put other things out, or?
It's closed.
I was just looking that up.
Wow.
Okay.
It closes. You're right. That's a difference from Longwood. It just closes.
Wow.
That's all they do. I looked that up actually because I thought, well, maybe they plant other things and we can still go there in July, but they're only open for those few weeks.
Which is interesting because they do have other flowers
Yeah, right.
in the park.
Not to mention the beautiful park itself.
Right.
They're too busy picking up bulbs.
Yeah, that's very unusual.
Yeah, is that
Real
true?
estate.
Is that true of Kirkenhoff also?
That's the one that's the
Oh,
one I
that
looked
is-
up that's only open for
Okay.
those few weeks when they're.
You can go to Vondel Park and I'll show you where that is
Okay.
later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions about tulips? Amsterdam Canals. Amsterdam Canals, and they're littered with churches, okay, that you can go into and look at. Now, Amsterdam is Protestant, obviously. Some of the churches were built when they were Catholic, some were built when they were Protestant, so, the most famous church is in the red light district. So I did not last time I was wondering by myself because the grandkids were in school and the daughter and husband were working. So I didn't wander into the red light district by myself. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's not in the red light district. Now, you are not going to see many canals and windmills in Amsterdam. This is a picture a friend took of windmills outside of Amsterdam. there's still a lot left, but not in the city. Did you see many in the city?
No.
No.
Now, I had to go to the special museum where they transplanted all the different windmills from the different provinces because the windmills are different from around the country. And so they brought them there to preserve them. And you go there and you can see all the different styles of windmills that was preserved.
Yeah. And it's fascinating how it used to be a marsh, Amsterdam, and the Romans just passed over it. I mean, it was worthless. A fishing village started, I think, in about the 1200s. And then the city, what they did was they started draining the swamps into canals and then eventually linking the water with the North Sea, which made it an optimal port. Think of the Chesapeake Bay, the scale's a little different. And if you went past Harbor de Grace, that's where Amsterdam is. But it's linked to the sea. So this is a map of the canals, and you have this map, and the transit system. And the blue, you can see all the canals. I mean, okay, let me use this. To the right of facing the train station, and the train station's a beautiful old building from the 1800s. Gorgeous, gorgeous, and very safe, very clean. And with the transit system, you can use any credit card you have to get on a bus or train or whatever. It's wonderful. You just put your credit card into, put it to a card reader, and when you get on, and you be sure to do it when you get off, otherwise you get charged a good amount of money. They take any credit card. Also, follow the signs on the doors, or you'll get yelled at if you go in and out door. Okay, but at least on the trams. Okay, this is the red light district here, for these canals. This is, my photos are from the western end. I guess it's the Western Market area. And that's where a lot of the stores are and the restaurants. So if you're facing the train station, this is the area for canals you want to walk around. Now, it's always crowded there. In the winter, it's native Amsterdam residents, Amsterdam residents that go shopping there. In the summer, it's filled with tourists. This is where Anne Frank's house is. I mentioned that, this just a lot of different things here, which we'll get some photos of. And then down here, which we'll get to later, is the museum plane, which has a lot of the museums on it. So I would take this where's the number 2? I think it was here. Yeah, I would take the number 2 bus for my daughters. Well, the tram for my daughters. And this is the canals in the 1500s, one of the first maps of Amsterdam. And you can see how they've drained the swamps. They've made, a harbor. And you'll see this in the museums there, copies of this in almost every museum. The churches stand out. How did they get this perspective? We don't.
Not from a drone.
No, right. Not from a drone. No, not from a drone. Not from a hot air balloon. I don't know how they got it, but it's pretty accurate for the time. Amsterdam was taken over by different countries, including Spain. The Spanish were really there for a while, and then it became a republic, but Napoleon came along and it became French. He put his brother on the throne, and it wasn't until after the Napoleonic era that it became an independent country as we know today. So this is a picture of the one windmill I found on a canal. Okay, the one from the Maritime Museum, which I'll get to in Amsterdam. And you can see the boats on the side, the houseboats and the other touring boats. And this is from a canal tour. Canal tours are, you can go for one on 50 people. It might cost 20 euros, or you could go to 12 persons, which costs close to 100 euros. Now, when I was there, the dollar was almost equal to the euro. It was a couple of cents difference, probably when you were there too. So I just said equal. Well, guess what's happened?
Oh, gosh.
So if you're, today I looked it up, it's 88 cents to a euro, and it's going down. So Trina, I'm sorry, but you know, you're gonna have to calculate what things cost, whereas it was easy for me, I just.
Well, I'm not tired of winning yet.
He's not tired of winning yet. Okay. Well, anyway, the canal boats, you can see the man in his canal boat looking out. The canal boats cost $500,000 to buy and another $500,000 to rent there.
Wow.
So, you know, I don't know what'll happen in Oxford, but, you know, it could be a big source of revenue.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. And here is, you can see an old unfixed up boat and then a nice fixed up boat. All the canals are just lined with canal boats.
That's what we're saying.
And they have electricity.
Yeah.
And, you know, water in a lot of cases. So anyway, there's a waiting line. I mean, it's extremely difficult to buy a canal boat.
Oh.
If you have $1 million. It's very expensive. Our daughter rents. She makes a very good salary, but she rents. They rent because houses start at about $1.5 million, unless you're willing to go way, way out. Yeah. Who would a friend? You have a friend there? Yeah.
Her family is there. She's here now. Her whole family still lives.
Okay.
Not in Amsterdam, way south in Soest.
Okay.
I have cousins who live north of Amsterdam, permanent. It's a kind of it was a cow dairy town, but now it's a big suburb for people to commute into Amsterdam. And I think the houses are much more reasonable there.
Oh, they are.
Sounds like it's like London and New York, you know, it's very
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But they have a wonderful transit system.
Yeah, right, the bus going from Permanent into downtown Amsterdam is not a big deal.
Yeah. Our daughter has a car, but to be honest, they try not to drive, except when they're going to Germany or Belgium or something.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's unique compared to the US is almost every block has an electric charger. So they have an electric car, but it's so easy. And they will take the same, you know, you have some kind of an account with them. So it's really easy to hook up. So from your canal tours, this is the National Opera and Ballet House. You can see it's a new house, but you can see canal boats are anchored even around it. And this is going into the harbor. So that's why it's so wide there. And here you begin to see bikes. Amsterdam reminded me of Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam because there are so many people biking. And bikes have the right of way, not pedestrians. So if you're crossing the street, you gotta look for bikes and cars, besides, and the lights.
And trams.
Yes, we have the right of way.
And trams. No, we don't have the right of
If you're
way.
walking.
Oh, we're gonna be on bikes.
Oh, you'll be on bikes, you have the right of way.
Sometimes you'll be-
Now, the speed of people biking is really fast. We're bikers, but we did not bike in Amsterdam. Really fast, and no one except tourists wears a helmet. which is interesting, because they're really into prevention, but not bike
Yeah,
outlets.
that's what I find so fascinating is, why don't they work? I mean, I've never asked my cousins about that. I guess I never thought to. But I guess it's not their thing.
No,
Prevented that from taking over the world.
and most people wear suits to work, business casual with sneakers. Except I have seen some women in pretty high heels biking. So I'm not sure I'd try
I guess
that.
if you don't have to walk, the heels don't bother you, right?
So it's a little wide, but you can see it's a street with houses, bikes, cars, and then traffic. A bike lane and then traffic. So crossing a street you gotta be really careful. And does anybody know about the top of those metal
Yeah, whatever.
poles sticking out?
Yeah, that's the top merchants had their,
That's-
cargo up to get into the top floor.
The attic, they stored,
It's like a pulley system.
yeah,
A pulley system.
and they still use it in some of the houses. I
Oh,
saw,
yeah, to get the furniture up.
I was gonna say for the furniture.
Yeah, so
you
it's
can
still,
haul things up still.
Yeah.
The houses, some of them, this is not a street, lean in on some of the older streets, because your taxes are from the ground floor front, or the ground floor front mainly. So, and I guess to the back. So if it was smaller on the ground floor, and then it goes up and comes out, the houses. So you can go to a street where the house, instead of like this in the front, is a little slanted out, which is fascinating. These are old, newer houses, so they're not. Houses are usually 4 stories in downtown Amsterdam. This is the neighborhood where my daughter lives. 4 stories with, if they're condos, there are 2 condos to each house. And those condos start at least $1.5 million to 2. The basements are going to swampy ground.
I was
yeah.
be surprised if they had these.
Yeah, me too.
Right, they have, the older ones just have wooden poles
Right.
into the ground. So you never want to buy a house where the basement is not redone, because it's a slew of regulations and it's very, very expensive, because once the poles come out of the sludge, they disintegrate, so you have to replace them. I am not an engineer, I don't know how this happens, but it costs a lot of money to redo a basement there.
So buy new.
Buy new. Okay, food.
Oh,
Amsterdam is eclectic in food, right? They had Indonesia as a colony.
yeah.
France is not too far, Germany, Belgium. I didn't really, except for the stoop waffles, eat much Dutch food while I was there. I ate Italian, I ate French. French fries are a big thing.
Yeah.
Now, also bakeries, cheese shops, they have butcher shops, it's wonderful. They have corner grocery stores. It's like the US was, you can imagine, when your parents were young. It is a big Instagram site for influencers. I am told, I'm not on it, Instagram. And this place, I was told I had to go to, because this is the in place for potato.
And look how young everybody is.
There's a line of about 30 people, not in this photo. So I got some, they were delicious.
Oh, wow.
They don't really use ketchup, I had a mayonnaise truffle topping.
Yeah.
Wow.
So wander around the canals, you'll get lost, I get lost constantly. Wander around the canals and you'll come to places like this with long lines, that is an Instagram.
Oh,
place. Now, this is a cheese shop that my son-in-law, who really does cheese, insisted we take a video of, and it shows you how many cheeses they have.
I heard something about it. Just, yeah. With skiing? No, how is she doing? Said she didn't have any injury. Oh, really?
Really weird. Ze appte me gisteren nog, of ze vrijdag laat.
Oh, so you didn't know?
I really.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
It is.
So this is near the canals. I mean, you can get some cheese and crackers and go and sit on a bench by the canals and eat. You don't have to spend a lot of money there.
Get a cheese sandwich.
Kathy, is your son-in-law Dutch?
No, he's British.
Okay.
That's why he said it reminded him of London or whatever.
You said that before and I wasn't.
And the butcher shops look like that too. I mean, it's wonderful to eat there.
And then the fish shops, where you go in and get fresh fish.
Fresh
Fish already cooked. You can just eat it.
This is a chocolate shop. It has a chocolate fountain in it, where the liquid chocolate just flows down. And I mean, thank God you walk. That's all I say, because I mean, it's just incredible. Would it be Belgian chocolate or
No, it's Dutch.
Dutch chocolate?
Sorry.
That's right, no.
Sorry. That's what, that's their chocolate.
Like Dutch cocoa,
And you can have a piece of it.
just so much better.
I got this at that shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
I was afraid to bring home some of the more gooey things. I know they wouldn't last, or they'd get melted in my suitcase. So,
Did you ever try bagel for your bread in the morning?
no.
It's a kind of a Dutch tradition where the kids eat it, but I still eat it. I mean, I have it every morning. So,
What is it?
what it is, it's like chocolate sprinkles. It looks like chocolate
Oh,
sprinkles.
yes.
It looks like chocolate sprinkles,
Sprinkles.
and you put it on your bread, and I have it with toast with peanut butter, and I put the Hegel on, Hegelschlager or something like that. And I get it from a place in the Netherlands, and they ship it to me. And it's really delicious. It's sort of like having a Reese's cup when you're on your bread, because it's both peanut butter and chocolate.
Excellent.
And that's
Like a great way to
so when you're there, buy it.
Can you spell it for me?
It's Hegel, Hagel, that's the short version. I have a picture of it on my phone. But anyway, it's hard to find here. But the best brands are the ones that you can really get in the Netherlands. So I get them kind of the national brand, but it's not the best. There's a grocery store, it's called Heinz. Albert Heijn.
Yes, Albert Heijn.
So if you get their brand, Hegel, it's better than, it's the best, because, and get the dark chocolate, because that is really, really good. And put that on the toast with peanut butter. Oh, you got it starts your day off on the right foot.
The kids had it, I did not try it.
Oh, you have to do that.
Hegelslag.
Yeah, it's
And the children love the sushi there. I mean, you name it, you could get any kind of food there. So on your sheet that is an attachment you'll be getting is a guide to Michelin restaurants there if you want really good food. And then another one called Hungry Birds, okay?
Hungry Birds.
Hungry Birds, which has a number of Amsterdam restaurants on it. So the canals are just gorgeous, okay? They're beautiful, they're fun to walk around, and just don't worry if you get lost. You'll eventually find something that's familiar. I should also mention that because Amsterdam, you can see, is on this river, it's to go to the coast from Amsterdam, you can go to the coast but it's very colder, it's much colder and windy.
Yes,
It's not a pleasant place necessarily.
yeah, I've spent the coldest summer of my life on the coast at a resort.
It's the North Sea, so
It's the North Sea.
it's very cold. And even the train station, which is in yellow here, on this river, is windier than the rest of the city. Once you go inland, it's much, warmer. It's in the 50s there today. It's gone into the 60s. Now, I went in January,
Oh, gosh.
one of the trips, this most recent trip, the end of January. It was going to be 12 degrees here when I left that evening, and it was in the 40s there. And it was the 40s the whole time. So and one day it got to the 50s. They were complaining because it was, it rains and mists, and then the sun comes out. I was like, so? It was warmer than this winter, so it's not bad to go in the winter. And the other thing is with the museums. Our first trip, we went to the Van Gogh Museum, and it's expensive. I lasted about 35 minutes. I had to leave. It was so crowded, even with time tickets. They let in too many people. I got tickets at the end of January, the same morning for the Van Gogh Museum. And I had the museum. It was beautiful. You could get up to the paintings. You could see everything. The same with the other museums. So it isn't terrible to go there in the winter. I wouldn't go on a bike tour probably in the winter,
But yeah, I'm guessing that probably when we're there, it's gonna be mild.
it'll be
Middle of August.
It has-
Yeah.
The Netherlands is about the size of Maryland. Maryland has, how many? Okay, and the Netherlands has 17 million.
Yeah.
Amsterdam, the whole area has about 1 million, the city about 900,000. They get something like 9 million visitors a year, so they've stopped cruise lines from docking in downtown Amsterdam, and they're trying to limit new hotels. And the canal area is mainly bed and breakfasts. So the museum area, it's so wonderful. It's almost like, how Philadelphia has the park with the Philadelphia Museum at the end and the Rodin Museum? Well, a lot of the museums are in here around Museum Lane, the big ones. So it's wonderful. You can walk around, starting with the Opera Hall is down here. And then you go, I'll show you the Van Gogh Museum, the Modern Art Museum, the MoCo Museum, and then the Wright Museum, which is like their Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, or the big one in San Francisco, just huge, huge. And then the other area, these are a lot of churches and houses. And then over here, you get a number of big museums I'll show you. And the Rembrandt house, which I did not go to, is over there. So the two spots with a lot of museums, at least I found here, the big museums, and then I'm not sure what that Van Gogh and Rembrandt in Amsterdam is, because the Van Gogh, I was thinking the Rembrandt house is down here. Okay, I'm not sure what those are up there. So,
Are people navigating on their barges to these museums, or are they?
no,
That's what I was wondering, if the canals are used,
Are those
like
all-
in Venice, you can get a gondola to go somewhere.
no,
It's no water taxis or anything.
I didn't see any, visits.
Are all the blue roads, are those all canals or are those roads?
Those are all canals.
Okay.
So then how did you see people getting around that might have gotten there by barge?
Bikes or walking.
Bikes
or trams.
Okay.
The museum area down here is maybe 5 tram stops from here. It's not far.
Yeah.
I've walked, okay, our daughter lives down here. It's maybe 6 blocks from the museum area. And I've taken a tram to here and then walked all the way here. It's very, I mean, it's a couple of miles, but
So how would she use a rental barge if she lives in the city, or how would one, I'll depersonalize it, huh? So if she lives in the city,
Right.
then why would one need a barge to go where?
you don't,
You don't use barges as transportation, do you?
no,
You live on them.
It's living
I live on them.
It's living space.
Or you take tours on them. But you don't, it's not like here where you would take a ferry from St. Michael's to Oxford.
Right.
There are no ferries. There are bridges, lots of bridges crossing the canals. You bike if you want from your barge. But the barge is a stationary, usually.
It's a houseboat.
They're houseboats.
That's great.
They're houseboats. And I'm neglecting the people online. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, see all the bikes? So people at bed and breakfast or on barges can rent a bike and take off if you want a bike. And you can bike to the museums, and there are bike racks everywhere. Just chain your bike up, because people do, the biggest crime in Amsterdam is stealing. So, or you can go to where a tram is and take a tram. We see. Yeah, so see how these barges, they're stationary barges, that's their houses. So. Okay, so the blue is all the canals, and the trams go over the canals, the bikes go over, you can walk over the canals. And again, this is the canal area that has the most restaurants and stores and everything. And there's a beautiful old bridge that goes to the museum area here. Down here. And this is Vondel Park. Remember I showed you a photo before? This is the park, and then this is the museum area. And down here also is a lot of shopping and restaurants.
Cross that up.
So if you're in Vondel Park and go to the right, what is that? That would be west. This is north, yeah, so this is southwest. There's a lot of restaurants by the museums too. So this is the Van Gogh Museum. You can see it's a very modern museum. They have images that you don't get in this Van Gogh on the glass that project outward. In the background here is the 17 or 1800s Symphony Hall, which is incredible. I'll show you a picture of the inside. They have a world-class symphony if you like music. Definitely worth going to. And then you can see this is the beginning of my daughter's neighborhood, but she lives about 4 or 5 blocks in from there.
Is that her?
No, that's me.
That's you?
That's me.
I got you really covered up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's me. So this, okay, the Van Gogh Museum. The Van Gogh Museum tells the life of Van Gogh, and it's fascinating to read about his life and his behavioral health issues that he had, which they talk about the treatment at the time and everything. I mean, it's really interesting. Now, if you go to the top floor, if you look up from the very ground, this is the third floor. What you see below the people is the second floor, first floor. You will see a projection on the walls of the atrium. And this is what happens to the whole series of these paintings. But so go to the third, be sure to go to the third floor if you go. Look at the flowers, just gorgeous, and the other things.
May I ask, is that different from the Van Gogh and Rembrandt Museum?
Yes, that's different. There's a Van Gogh museum down, okay. Do you see where the Stedelijk museum is?
Yeah,
Okay, it's right by there,
so it's down in the museum area,
in the museum plane, yes,
Von Little Park, and
yes. On one end is the symphony that I showed you, and the other end is the Wright Museum, and then in between are some of the other museums. And there's a big grassy plain they have an ice skating rink in the winter.
Sorry, I moved back, so I was trying to find where.
It's,
left hand.
Yeah, I got it. I don't have a paper map, so.
okay, so, okay, do you need a paper?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Okay. And for the people at home, you'll be getting the paper, on Zoom, you'll be getting the paper this afternoon with the map. I don't know why they don't have the Van Gogh Museum on this, which is interesting. Because it should be. Again, that's a reason to go in winter. You can see how few people live there.
That's Van Gogh.
No, that is not. That's something else.
Okay.
The big Van Gogh museum, this museum, there's the big Van Gogh museum, there's the Opera House, and the other direction's the Wright Museum. Museums, if you're going to go to more than 2 museums while you're there, get a museum pass. I did not and spent a lot of money. The museum pass will really save you money. And it's good for a lot of the houses that are museums too. The Rembrandt House, yeah. Museum, beautiful. This is the Symphony Hall, and you can sit behind the orchestra. Oh, wow. And look at that organ in the middle, just incredible. So, and the roof and the ceiling, it's worth, I think you can sometimes get in the day and get a tour. But and they have practices. That's, okay, as opposed to the US, their symphony concerts are sold out frequently. But they do have practices you can go to, and that's what we went to. Okay, this is at the other end from the Symphony Hall, and this is the Wright Museum. Huge, it has wings going back. This half is devoted to Indonesian art because they owned Indonesia. They had something like 35,000 slaves in Indonesia and brought back, like the London Museum, right? Brought back a lot of artifacts and paintings. And this is Rembrandt, Vermeer, a couple of Van Goghs, and beautiful Dutch art from the 1560s to the modern times, and right now they're featuring an American photographer. So, anyway, yeah, I know I'm forgetting his name. I did
Not
not.
Antoine's.
Excuse me?
Not Antoine's.
No, it's a black photographer.
Gordon Park.
Oh,
I know, I'm guessing. I'm just like
It
tripping.
could be,
Black
could be.
card. I have no
Yeah.
idea who you're talking about.
Okay, well,
Okay.
you can, you're hot linked to the right museum, you can look it up. Now, here's a real hack. I ate a lot of lunches in museums.
Yes.
The cafeterias are really good. The restaurants, like world-class food you can get. And they're so reasonably priced. And you can meet people, because a lot of them have just like counters, but I mean, it's a big, you can sit at a table, or I like to sit at the bars and you can meet other tourists, so it's, you know, we both, I should say we, Jerry usually comes with me, but the last trip, my husband did not come with me. So anyway, this is a wonderful museum, cafeteria and a huge atrium, and you could spend days in this museum. At least I could have. They have everything from the Dutch started model boat collecting. So they have model boats from like the 16, 17, 1800s.
Are you gonna mention solar panels?
No.
Because that is crazy.
Yeah, the solar panels.
Yeah.
They're very eco-conscious there, much more than here. And they're really into health and prevention, which is again why the bike helmets is interesting. So on the left is a statue from their Indonesian collection, just as an example. And on the right is one of their great halls. That I think is a map of is it the US or the solar system on the floor? It's just, you can get an idea of the scale of this building, dimensions. And of course they have Vermeer, right? I thought this was cute with the cat and the children playing. And they talk about how he really changed the concept of portrait painting. And this is a famous Rembrandt one.
Night watch.
Night Watch. And they're actually were working on Night Watch last time I went. And they had a glass wall and maybe 15 feet out, glass wall, and then they had scaffolding and the people were working on restoring it. And you could watch them.
It looks so, last time I saw it was so much darker. It's terrifically restored there.
Yeah. Well, they're still working on it now, but yeah, it is. And I thought it was kind of funny. They have museum staff who talk about the painting, and he incorporated the figure of a young girl. I can't see her from here, who's carrying a dead chicken on her belt. Because it's referencing the arquebus at Boosers, long-barreled soldiers who carry long-barreled firearms. How the girl with the chicken referenced that, I'm not sure, but anyway. So you can see how crowded it can get, which is why it's going there. Now, this is in the middle of Museum Plain, Moco Museum, and I loved it. Has Andy Warhol. It has, wait a minute, let me find it, Banksy. Do you know Banksy?
Yes.
It has the largest Banksy collection outside of London. And it's wonderful, the collection. Though nobody, they say, knows who he is.
I was wondering how they got this.
Is that why you stuck it in some color?
Yeah, of course.
Very nice.
There's a Banksy Foundation that has his art. And lends it, I guess, to these museums. So this is the smallest museum on Museum Lane, but it's really cute and worth the fun of going to. A very contemporary museum. So, you know, these are some of the Banksy paintings that are famous. I love the girl with the raining inside the umbrella. And there was one other, well, what did he say? Oh, there was another one, I took the slide out, but it said, we are all humans until race disconnected us, religion separated us, and politics divided us.
Wow.
Brilliant.
That's one of Banksy's quotes. So they have a lot of his quotation marks, quotations there. And this is the Museum of Modern Art that's on.
Now, that's a
Museum.
spaceship.
Yes.
It's like a bathtub.
It's like a bathtub.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it does.
And they have fitness classes at the bottom of it. I noticed outside. There have been instructors with fitness classes. And they have a beautiful gift shop in that museum. They all do. This was beautiful. So these are the museums on Museum Lane with the Symphony Hall. So it's definitely worth spending a day on Museum Lane. And if you go on the side of, if you go out to the right here, there'll be lots of restaurants and some streets are closed. So it's a good place to eat. But I liked eating in the museum, so. Okay, we're gonna go now to this other section of the map. Over here where it says National Maritime Museum.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the Maritime Museum. It was one of my favorite museums in Amsterdam. It is a huge building that was a naval academy. The first section was built in 1656. They reclaimed land and built part of this in 1656. And then it was served, they built it out and it served as a maritime storage facility. The first yacht club supposedly in the world is on a canal over this way. And that was started in the 1600s. So this is the Maritime Museum, great cafeteria, gift shop. Look at the inside. This is a huge inside, and this is a glass ceiling that they covered it with.
Wow.
The whole courtyard. And this is, they have, at least 100 model boats. They have the whole history of maritime. Wow.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, Phone got excited. They have the history of Dutch maritime, they have Dutch maritime paintings. I mean, it's just a really beautiful place to visit, and 3 of the 4 wings have on display, works of art on display. For example, this is a famous Dutch painting of the canals freezing over and them playing games on the canals. They had skating races. The canals have not even frozen in 7 years there at least, because of the warming of the Dutch climate. And this was a yearly occurrence there. They also have paintings of floods there, which is interesting. Okay, outside of the Maritime Museum is a replica of their frigates who had sailed the world. And they have you can go inside and you can see everything from the storage to the captain's table and desk and living quarters and the guns and everything. It's beautiful, just beautiful. And there's a smaller boat to the right that's not included in the photo. But it's a really, really interesting museum. And somewhere over there is the first is the first yacht club in the world. So I spent a whole day in this museum. And you can get there from the train station. You just take a bus or what do you call it? Just take a bus there, a tram, and it'll go right there. It's a couple of stops. And if you go outside, oh, here's another hint. If you go outside the train station, you're on the river, and it's beautiful. They have a walkway and everything. So
Did you have to hold on to your hat?
yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not the right museum. I mislabeled this. I'm sorry. This is the Hermitage. Now, Amsterdam made an agreement with the Hermitage in St. Petersburg to exchange paintings. They would send some Dutch paintings there, and the Hermitage would send paintings for exhibit here. And they fixed up this huge building that's an open courtyard, just like the Maritime Museum. It's that big. And then Ukraine happened.
Oh.
So it's now called H''AART, Art Museum. And it's still called the Hermitage too. That is near, right, it's below the Maritime Museum, so it's in this area. Now, what is there? Oh, there it is. Okay. What they did was half, see Amsterdam Museum? Okay, that's this museum. They took half the museum, two of the wings, and it is the temporary home of the Amsterdam Museum, while the Amsterdam Museum builds a new building. The other half has an exhibit of the 750th anniversary of Amsterdam. So they trace the evolution of Amsterdam through paintings, through their art. And it includes a wonderful exhibit on women of Amsterdam. So this is a little bit out of the way, this museum, but it's worth going to because of its exhibits. And let's see. Oh, yes. In the Amsterdam City Museum that I went to, this is why I didn't go to Anne Frank's house. In an open stairwell, they have a 2-story blow-up of a map like this. These are the maps the Nazis used to identify where Jews lived in Amsterdam, so they could deport them and kill them. There was something like 140,000 Jewish people in the Netherlands. Now, a number of them were refugees from Germany at the start of World War II. In Amsterdam, at the end of the war, well, I don't know if it's all the Netherlands, there were 5,000. So to see this 2-story blow-up map where they explain how this Nazi systematically went through and drew where the Jewish houses were and then captured people. It was just so moving. I walked past the Anne Frank house and I thought, I can't do that after seeing this. All the museums have art stories about what happened in Amsterdam. The Jewish people that survived were mainly the ones like the Franks, though they were captured, were in attics during the war. So it's really a very sad history, historical part of Amsterdam. So anyway, this museum was worth going to. On a lighter note, this is the Imperial Palace. It was built in, let me get this right, from 1648 to 1665, and it stands in Dam Square, D-A-M Square. It was the city hall, and then Napoleon conquered Holland and took it as his residence and installed his brother there. So his brother redid the whole thing. And you can see the bedrooms where the Napoleons slept with all their original furnishings. Then the royal family lived there. Today it's used just for heads of states visits and meetings, basically.
And food and drink and shopping.
Excuse me?
I'm reading the sign, and I said, and food and drinks and stopping, or shopping, is what it says.
And there's a cathedral to one of the sides, well, a church to one of those sides. Dam Square is, let's see, if you go to the train station on yours, I'd say it's about maybe where the Amsterdam Toy Museum is. It's between the train station and the museum plane. It's halfway between the two. So if you're on a canal, it's really easy to get to.
So, local viaduct,
Yes.
and it's like the Harrods of, and they're really nice places to eat.
Okay, I saw it from the outside.
It's really, really nice.
What's it called?
Viaduct, it's like the Harrods of Amsterdam. It's a very, very nice store. It has all the top designers, and there are really good places to eat there.
And there are a lot of stores in this section.
Yeah.
A lot of, but I found there were a lot of, American stores, stores you can see here, and I preferred to go to the Canals where there were more Dutch stores. Oh, and if you're interested in shopping in Amsterdam, in January, the end of January is when they have their sales. They're like here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's a good time if you want to, and they have beautiful clothes by European designers, that are just beautiful. So that's the Imperial Square, and this is one of the Napoleon's bedrooms. I got off the internet. The Imperial Palace, Dam Square, I'm sorry, and then you can see the furnishings and everything. I mean, it's just
I
incredible.
see a painting on the ceiling too.
Yeah, there's paintings on the ceiling. It's an incredible palace. So, and that isn't as crowded as the museum plane museums. So if you go in the summer, it's a good place to go. Because it kind of stands alone in between the train station and museum plane. And I wanted to talk to you, and we'll get back, I'll show you the map of the Netherlands again, but it's very easy to take day trips, as I said, by car, by train. One town that's close is Harlem. And that has its own canals, its own shopping, that's my poor husband there. Its own canals, its own shopping, its own cathedral, you can see in the distance there, its own church, great restaurants and museums. So it's a nice little town to go to. Another nice little town to go to is Delft.
It's really cute.
Yeah, the blue stuff. Yeah, and I will show you in a minute. And that has its canals and its church
Yeah,
and its restaurants.
it's lovely to see it.
It's lovely. And bikes. You can bike anywhere there, just anywhere. And it has a Delft museum and workshop.
Oh, wonderful.
Where you can go into room after room of their plates, of their other designer things. And they have modern designs, which is interesting. I didn't know. Look at the fountain. I didn't know that. There's several rooms of modern furniture. And then they have a clock. They have, I think I have a next photo of a woman, I'm not sure. That's all Delft China.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a neat place to go to, and it's a big university town, Delft. So a lot of students, young people. It's nice. Yes. And you could dress in a Delft outfit.
Oh, wow.
And this is one of the craftsmen, woman, is actually painting the Delft. I mean, this isn't their main, manufacturing plant, but. So, and you walk through on a path through all these workshops where people are working. There is a place in Delft where if you have children, you can take them to paint pottery. The kids had birthday parties, so it was just my daughter and I, so we didn't do that. But it's a you can easily spend a day or two in Delft. Now, Amsterdam, what I didn't show you, has many tall modern office buildings. And this here is their new photography museum. It was across the harbor, so I didn't get to it. But they must have 20 or so office buildings like this. So I stayed away from that area except to get to the kids' school, okay, which you went through it. But it is a very modern business area. There are a lot of companies moving there. In fact, their headquarters there. So here, okay, going back is Amsterdam. Here is Delft. You can get to Rotterdam. The Hague, we drove through it. It's very nice. They have a beautiful museum there, which I didn't get to. And then you can see Holland by the coast. So there's just a lot of places to go to by train if you make Amsterdam your, main area to stay in. And I'm going to end with, isn't there one last picture?
Clogs. No, that was it.
Oh, I thought you were going to show us Clogs. Okay. I should have mentioned Clogs. I had one last picture I thought in there. What happened to it? It didn't transfer.
That was, yeah.
Okay, I had a picture, I'll get to Clogs. I had a picture of one of my grandchildren celebrating the Indian festival of Holi? Colors, and she's covered in colors from head to foot.
We need that picture.
And why I showed that is on the buses, some of the buses in Amsterdam, is a big sign that says, everyone is welcome here. It is truly an international city. Truly, and her best friend is from India. So they went to her house for a festival of colors. But it is truly international, and everyone speaks English because there are so many different languages. I went to their school, in fact, which is an international school, and no matter, there were people from all over the world, parents coming, I went to a play there, I did not show you the play, of 10-year-olds play. But what was really interesting was they were all speaking English.
They start teaching it at a very early age.
Yes.
In public schools.
Yeah. And they lived in Switzerland, was one of the places they lived before this, and they went to Swiss schools, not an international school. And they were included English in elementary school. So, it's a wonderful place to go. You can get lost, you can ask people for directions. Quite nice. So that's all I wanted to show you, I don't know what time it is.
Thank you.
Clogs, I forgot clogs.
No, they really
No, no one wears
Yeah.
clogs. You will find them in gift shops.
Okay, okay.
You
All
can
right.
buy clogs.
Did they run about one side?
Oh, yes.
In some
parts of the country. Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that was because of the mud.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the rich people wore the leather shoes, many years ago, and the poor people wore the
Wooden shoes.
Oh, really?
So I'm sorry, I know we mentioned clogs, but I didn't even see clogs in museums.
It's the cute kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's-